Will you marry me? Oh my god, yes! Under a few conditions. See, marriage is a lifelong commitment. And today I wanted to talk about the things that would not be flying, the things that I would consider heavily before deciding to make that commitment. Because it's not just a financial commitment, it really is about being able to live with a person and being able to compromise with that person for the rest of your life. You can't escape it. You may get breaks from them, but at the end of the day, they are your spouse, and you're supposed to love each other. Remember, divorce rates are like the all-time high in America right now. So wherever you're watching this from, keep that in mind, but keep all of this in mind. And it's mostly just traditions. The first one is till death do us part. This has always been strange to me, and I know I'm kind of working backwards here on the list, but till death do us part is just weird to me, because it basically says, alright, I will love you forever. You're the only person for me. I won't look at another person with lustful eyes or with a desire to be with them my entire life until you die. If you die, see, this is the contract. It's a binding contract. If you die, I have permission to fall in love with somebody else. Because it can't hurt you. You don't know about it. You're dead. What does that say about the person? And listen here. Okay, look, I get it. It's totally okay to have different relationships with people. I don't mean having, oh yeah, I have my husband and my boyfriend. I don't mean things like that. I mean, it's perfectly okay to have all sorts of friends from different age groups, from different backgrounds, of different genders, everything all-inclusive, as long as everything is, of course, safe. Like, probably don't want to be friends with minors or anything weird like that. But, in general, I think it's really important to have friends. They bring out different aspects of your personality, and it makes life more interesting. And it's okay to admit that you love someone. Your love for your mom and dad is not the same love that you have for your husband. So why do we draw the line at friends? If you can say, oh, I love my girlfriend, my female friend, why can't you say you love your male friend? Oh, that draws the line. There is such thing as a platonic love. There is such thing as a platonic friendship. A man and a woman can be friends without anything implied. Now, I feel like we oftentimes don't think about this when it involves gay people, right? Because if a guy is attracted to guys, but he still has all guy friends, I don't really hear people saying much about that. I mean, obviously I'm not really an active member of the gay community, but in media and movies and people I've seen, I don't ever hear about, that, like, oh, well, you can't have any male friends anymore because you have a boyfriend. That's a little, anyway, that was just kind of a side note. I'm getting a little bit off track. My point is that it's just strange to me that there's this rule when two people officially, because that's a whole other thing, but if you officially stand before God, before the court, before your family, whoever, and you make a legally binding commitment to one another, to be with each other for the rest of your lives, it only goes up to death. It expires at the other person's expense. And then you have permission to move on to somebody else. And that is sometimes a conversation you have within the relationship. You will ask one another, if I pass on, will you find love again? Will you love somebody else? And I get it. I mean, people always say, well, you can't expect them to be miserable for the rest of their lives. It's not about being miserable. I just feel like personally, and I'm not coming down on anybody, but I feel like personally, and like I said, I'm perfectly fine having friends and all sorts of close relationships, but I only want to be married to one person in my life. I don't ever want to remarry, whether that's through death or divorce. I don't want to do it. I want to wait, and if it takes waiting 10, 20 years, I'm okay with that. I want to make sure I do this right. because I'm perfectly fine living with myself. I know myself, I'm comfortable with myself, and I trust myself. I've spent a lifetime with myself, but I can't say the same thing about another person. So, to find the person who I truly feel comfortable with my emotions, my financial status, every asset I own, everything about my life, to be able to share my life with, to share my space with, to reach that point is honestly a once-in-a-lifetime chance. And I feel like if I live my life with that person and we grow old together, or maybe even something unexpectedly happens and he passes on, I'm going to be stricken with grief. And obviously, I'm not going to let that completely debilitate me. I will find a way to cope with it and try to find the beauty in life after he passes on. And that doesn't mean I don't have room in my heart for other people. I'll still love my friends, maybe make new friendships, maybe, go out and see the world, but I just don't think that, I feel like it would be a dishonor to him. And yes, he's passed away, he's moved on, he's not here, he can't witness it, his soul is at peace. But I feel like I would not be honoring him, because if you think about it, you wouldn't do it while he's alive, but you wait till he's dead to move on. Some people move on very quickly, and I'm not saying that that's on them. I don't think that's necessarily their fault. I'm not saying they're a whore or that they're a bad person. I'm just saying that's just how some people cope. Some people need that immediate, connection. They need that immediately. Right after a breakup, they move on to somebody else. You may call it a rebound, but it's just their way of, they don't want to have that gap. They don't want to have that period of discomfort. So they want to find that sense of closeness with somebody else, even if it's somebody they don't know very well. That's sometimes why people do it. And I understand that. But from a healthy mental perspective, I think it's unfair to, make all these accommodations to somebody, guarantee a lifetime with somebody, and the moment they pass away, and it may be years from then, it may be, I wasn't trying to fall in love, I just did. Alright, I get it. I just feel kind of weird about it. I don't like till death do us part, but I get it. There's really no entitlement. It's just, for me personally, I just don't think it's right. For me personally, I take it very seriously, and I think that one man and that's enough. One man and that's enough. I don't think I would, have the emotional capacity to go through that again, and as many years as I spent with my husband, it's going to take that many times 2 to be comfortable entering a new relationship, at least. And if he died pretty old, then there's not really going to be much time for me to develop a new relationship with somebody else. And if he died unexpectedly, that's going to be a lot of trauma on my heart, and that's going to take a very long time to do. And I get it, you can have room in your heart for multiple people. I loved him one way, and maybe if there's a potential future guy, I love him in a very different way. It doesn't mean I love one more than the other. I understand that, but I just personally don't think that that's the kind of thing I'd want to do, and that's not the kind of person I want to be. Anyway, other things. There are so many wedding traditions I hate. First of all, the dress code. In American weddings, anyway. I know every wedding is different for different cultures. But typically, the bride can wear whatever color she wants at this point. Traditionally, it's white. And the tradition is that she wears white to represent purity, which a lot of people aren't, virgins when they get married, which is whatever. But that's the tradition, and it's kind of a disgusting tradition, but I don't really want to get into that quite yet. I may bring it up later or in a different video. Anyway, but the rule is that whatever color the bride is wearing, whether she chooses to wear white, which is the usual tradition, all of the bridesmaids, all of the guests, nobody else can wear white, or it looks like they're trying to mock the bride, or that they're trying to pose as the bride. It's her special day, and she's the only one to wear that color, or whatever color it is she chooses to wear. But I noticed that the groom, the husband, gets to wear a black suit, a tuxedo, and guess what? So do all of the guests, all of the groomsmen, the man of honor, or the best man. They are all wearing the same tuxedo. Or if it is different, I as a woman can't tell. I can't tell. They all just look like black tuxedos to me. There's not a big enough difference, right? It's just not a big enough difference. And I just don't like that. Personally, if the center of the event is the bride and the groom, it's their day, it's about their devotion to one another, I don't think that we should confuse, but essentially it's the symbolism tied with the outfits, and it's like any man here could be the groom, essentially, with the outfit, is what that seems to imply to me. I want my husband to wear what he wants, and like, it can break tradition. It doesn't necessarily have to be a tuxedo if he doesn't want to wear one. We don't even have to match. I'm okay with that. I'm not a Pinterest girly. I want to wear a dress, but and I do want to wear a white dress because personally I feel like it's so rooted in wedding tradition that we're pretty much afraid to wear white dresses at any other occasion. And if you're not the bride, if you're the guest, you're typically not allowed to wear a white dress. So the only fitting occasion for a girl to wear an elaborate or just a pretty fancy white dress is her wedding. And I want to use that opportunity, because when else in my life am I going to get to wear a white dress? And it's just kind of something that I want to do. But my husband, I think maybe a white tuxedo, and all of the guests and groomsmen can wear black by default, or whatever color they choose, maybe pastels, however it goes, or, maybe it won't be a fancy wedding at all, or, whatever he's interested in. If he wants to wear some kind of traditional attire from his culture, whatever he feels comfortable in, as long as it's not insulting to me or our relationship, and it's not identical or too similar to the guests. I think it's only fair that we get to wear, that he gets to stand out too, because why is it just the bride? That just seems sexist to me. And there's a lot of sexism involved. I mean, let's get real here. Sorry, Dad, but you're not walking me down the aisle. I know what that means. I know what it represents, and I don't like it. Giving the bride away to the husband. He had no ownership over me to begin with, nor does my husband. I'm an independent person with autonomy, and I'm just agreeing to basically be on tax papers with my husband. And there's a lot of beautiful things about the wedding too, but essentially that's what it boils down to. I don't want to be given away. I'm no one's property, and being walked down the aisle is just not an appealing thing to me at all. Another strange tradition, which is actually what brought me here, I've seen a video about it. I've seen it quite a few times. It's the one where the bride wears a band on her thigh. It's called a garter. And the groom, she sits in a chair, and the groom gets on his knees and goes under her dress and pulls it off of her thigh with his teeth, and he tosses it to his groomsmen. And it's a similar tradition to the bride throwing the bouquet, which means whoever catches it first is next to get married. First of all, that's really weird and gross. Why is he under my dress in front of her? We all know what that looks like, right? If you don't, then stay innocent, little bro. But we all know what it looks like, and it's just weird to be doing that in front of your whole family. I think if he feels like he has to do this, and it's not a very common tradition, I don't think. No one I know has done this at their wedding that I know of. It's a gross tradition. If he does this, I feel like, because, look, the spotlight's already on you. You and your wife, the spotlight is on you too. The whole day is about you guys. The whole ceremony is about you two as a couple. And what you do during the ceremony represents a lot about you, and you're displaying it to the public. That's very much what this is about. That's what the opportunity is. He's given that spotlight, and what he chooses to do with it is basically him communicating to the audience. And if he feels that it's very important to include this in the wedding, to get on his hands and knees, and he feels like he's so comfortable with his face under his wife's dress in front of his own family, it really shows that he's insecure. I think he's insecure about his relationship, and he's insecure as a man because he has to prove something to his family, to his friends, to all the women who are there, everybody there, that he's not afraid to be intimate with his wife in front of people. And oh yeah, I licked that thing good. I don't know how much of that was missed. You know what, guys? We'll just do a part 2 of this video, alright? Thank you so much, and also, this is a great opportunity for you to leave any strange traditions or anything weird involving weddings or relationships in the comments and let me know, and I'll gladly share my opinion on that, or you can share your opinion on it as well. And I'd be glad to include it if you want, or you can just leave it in the comment section and leave it at that. But anyway, thank you guys. Have a great night, great day whenever you're seeing this. Peace and much love to you.